Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome. The Doctor is in. It has been a minute since we played this. Give me just a moment here. I'm going to make sure again that the sound alerts are working. Perfect. All right. So we just had the first Twilight last time we met. And thank you for the lurk, Mickey. Glad to have you here. Okay, let me go ahead and hydrate just a little bit more. There we go. I think we should be good now. Before we get into it, if you're watching on YouTube, please like or subscribe. It does help the channel out. Milady, please, calm yourself.
We still don't know who the culprit is. And Beatrice-sama is an important and honored guest of the Masters.
So what? If we grab her by the collar, she'll definitely confess. If I could just look her in the eye, I'll know. I'll see through her. Hold on. Okay, thought I had my headphones set incorrectly. We're good. A witch? Beatrice? Yeah, right. I'll expose her. Jessica never stopped moving. Koda and Cannon chased after her, doing their best to convince her to stop, but Jessica never lent them an ear. Eventually, the witch's VIP room came into view. This VIP room was always sealed and never used. No matter what kind of guest came, Kinzo wouldn't let them in there. And yet the servants were always made to clean this room so that it could be used at any time. So the servants had started calling this room the witch's VIP room after their second shapeless master. Jessica knew about this too, and she couldn't forgive the arrogance of the one who called herself a witch by staying in that room. The Golden Witch was just a fairy tale. Come on, a witch? To Jessica, she was nothing more or less than the murderer who had brutally killed her parents. Question her, hear her pitiful excuses, make her splutter in pain, gasp in anguish. No matter how hard she pretends to be a witch, I'll teach her that she's just a stinking, sweaty human. As Jessica yelled with all of her strength, she hit the door to the VIP room. It definitely wasn't a knock. That sound was the beating of her anger's hammer, as if she was determined to break the door down if it wasn't opened. Open up, Beatrice! Come out! You hear me, right? Open up! There was no answer. Jessica grabbed the doorknob without any reservation, but she felt the resistance of the lock. She turned around to look at the two servants and spoke. The master key'll unlock this, right? One moment. Use it!
Milady, that would be horribly rude.
Although Goto was flustered, he still tried to somehow calm Jessica's anger. After hanging his head silently for a while, Cannon pulled a master key from his jacket pocket.
Cannon-san, are you sure?
Yes, I'm fully aware it would be rude if she happens to be in there. At any rate, if Beatrice had nothing to do with that incident, all she has to do is give us a satisfying explanation. That's right, exactly! Let me borrow that! Jessica snatched the master key from Cannon's hand and violently shoved it into the keyhole. Immediately there was a small sound and she felt the lock click. Then, without asking permission, she flung the door open. Beatrice? Where are you? Come out! Jessica rudely stepped into the room. The witch wasn't anywhere to be seen. That bitch! She's not here! Where the hell'd she go?
Yes, she doesn't seem to be here.
Jessica, thinking she might be hiding somewhere inside the room, peeked behind the curtains and under the bed, but she couldn't find anyone. However, there definitely were signs that the bed had been used. And though it was only a vague sense, the atmosphere of the room felt a little soft. It wasn't the hard atmosphere of a place normally devoid of people like the chapel. You could definitely tell that someone had spent the night in this room, but she could not be seen. In reality, neither Jessica nor Goda had met Beatrice. They had only been told by those who had met her that she looked like a double of the character in the portrait, so they were doubtful about what her face really looked like. However, Canon alone had met her. He understood what kind of being that witch was, what kind of personality she had, so he knew that forcing their way in here and search for her definitely wouldn't work out. She must be watching us bitterly flail about in vain from somewhere, sneering at us. She's that kind of person. Because he was looking at things that way, Canon was the first to find it. The other two were concentrating on finding the shadow of a person so they didn't notice. Near a water jug on the side table, there was a single sheet of letter paper. On it was a short message, and nearby was a fountain pen which had probably been used to write it. Canon had already come to understand the witch. After finding the corpses, they'd been overcome by rage and barged in here, only to find no one, so of course the witch would mock them. You can't mock someone unless they know they're being mocked. So in other words, that's what this must be.
Milady, there's something written here.
Something written? What? Jessica dashed over and violently snatched the piece of paper away. She probably wasn't trying to be violent. She just couldn't control her strength right now.
What the? Don't fuck with me!
As soon as she read the message, Jessica went into a wild rage, crumpled the paper up, and threw it. That's instance number 2 in over 20 hours of content. Impressive. Then she grabbed the light stand by the bedside and violently swung it around, mercilessly hitting the walls and furniture with it. The light bulbs all shattered at once, and the fragments were scattered across the room.
Milady, please calm down. You'll hurt yourself.
Let go! Damn it, damn it! Come out, Beatrice! How could you do that to Mom and Dad? You think you scare me? I'll kill you, I'll kill you! I'll beat you to death, so show yourself!
You're giving me very little incentive to show myself, you know that.
I told you to let go of me, damn it! This was written on the paper. Did you think I'd be that senile to just sit around here waiting for you to come barging in? You're way too inelegant for this intellectual night. I can only imagine what the parents who raised you to be such a moron must have looked like. Oh right, I saw them, and they look just as moronic as you. Now their bellies are full in the land of sweets. It was the sort of thing that witch would write. It meant that she'd predicted that one of the children who lost their parents would come running in here. If she's hiding somewhere in this room, she must be rolling around laughing now. The witch was that kind of person. She sneered at people's misfortune, using it to stave off the boredom of 1,000 years.
Hand it over. I'm telling you, you'll hurt your... Ah! I'm telling you, you'll hurt yourself.
I told you to let go! Damn it! Damn it! Goda snatched away the light stand Jessica had been holding. After all, if she kept swinging it around, she might end up smashing it against something, which could cause serious Hold on. Okay. After all, if she kept swinging it around, she might end up smashing it against something, which could cause serious injury. To Goda's eyes, Jessica probably looked mad with rage, burning herself up with the flames of anger. But Cannon's eyes saw it differently. Those were probably tears of sadness, hidden by rage. So, when the light stand was taken from Jessica, when she started crying on the floor, scratching at the carpet almost as though she was groveling, Goda was surprised, but Cannon was not. Of course, she had lost her means of crying by lashing out in rage.
Dad, Mom.
Considering that she was the daughter of the Ushiromiya head family, she was in a very shabby state. She scratched at the carpet with her fingernails, and even her feet were scratching. Jessica cried very, very hard, because if she didn't, her rage would start building up again and swallow her up. But over and over again, she remembered that humiliating message. I can only imagine what the parents who raised you to be such a moron must have looked like.
Don't you call them morons! Both Dad and Mom were smart. Unlike me, they were really smart.
Jury's still out on your dad, but,
Don't you call them morons! Take it back! Take it back!
oh right, I saw them and they look just as moronic as you. Now their bellies are full in the land of sweets.
Ah, damn it! Kill her. I'll kill her. I'll slice over her stomach and see how she likes it. Ah.
As Jessica cried and screamed, she triggered an asthma attack. The servants watching over her hurriedly ran up to her and rubbed her back, but that only provoked Jessica's wrath.
The hell? If you got the time to do that, search for the bastard. Find him and bring him here. If you won't go, I will. I'll kill him with my own hands. I'll slice open her stomach.
Gosh dang it, I've given myself the hiccups while trying to cough for her. Sorry, give me just a moment. I'm gonna try and resolve this somehow. Okay. Let's try that again. Okay, she's coughing. You guys get the idea. I'm not gonna throw myself into hiccups again.
Don't touch me! Damn it, damn it! Cough, cough!
Cough, cough. I'm sorry. I just... yeah, I don't know. I don't usually get hiccups when I'm coughing on stream, so this is very weird for me. Jessica got up unsteadily, and as her asthma continued, she went out into the hallway.
Milady, your medicine, quickly. I will call Dr. Nanjo.
Goda-san, would you leave this to me? Cannon had noticed. Goda, who was vastly separated from her in age, probably couldn't sense the tears in Jessica's heart. Cannon, who had noticed, had to be the one to support her.
Cannon-san, are you sure?
I believe Milady needs some time to cry right now, considering that she saw her parents killed like that.
You're right.
Goda also understood, and he knew that Jessica and Cannon had shared a vague relationship with each other. So he understood everything and left it to Cannon. Hold up, need to adjust my seat a little bit. There we go.
Very well. I will go back to Rosa-sama. Please take care of Milady.
Yes, leave it to me. Cannon's voice was frail, but he nodded firmly. After looking at his eyes, Goda nodded firmly as well. Goda was a veteran with many years behind him. He'd seen a great number of people in his life, so he knew the vigorous sparkle that could be found in the eyes of those who possess self-control. He had surely seen that in Cannon's eyes, so he would leave this to Cannon. When you think about it, maybe this was the first time Goda had ever trusted Cannon and relied on him for a job. Jessica, still suffering from her asthma, seemed to be heading towards her room, though she kept leaning against the wall. Cannon followed her wordlessly. If she had asked for a hand, he would have leapt forward and supported her. But until Jessica did ask for that, he chose to hide himself, watching over her from a distance where he could come to her rescue at any time. When people feel their hearts are about to explode from sadness and want to have someone by their sides, you can bet 10 billion of them would want to turn around and find someone in the place Cannon now stood, as he watched over Jessica from behind. Then finally she doubled over in front of the door to her room. The asthma attack had stolen all her strength, and her thoughts had gotten hazy from the lack of oxygen, making it impossible even to stand up again. But right then, Jessica didn't think she wanted someone to lend a hand. She still hadn't been able to overcome the flames of anger. Even if someone had offered her a hand with good intentions, Jessica would have wanted to tear it off right then. She knew how unfair that would be, so she definitely wouldn't ask for help until she overcame the fiery anger burning inside. Jessica had probably lost the willpower even to call for help, but Cannon heard it. He definitely heard it. Cannon definitely heard that voiceless call for help, one shared by miserable grievers the world round, an endless scream that no one ever seems to hear. Cannon quietly knelt by Jessica's side and wordlessly offered her a shoulder. Though Jessica kept coughing painfully, she accepted it, unlocked the door to her room, and entered. This way. I'll prepare your medicine right away. Jessica often said that when her asthma got serious enough, it hurt so bad that she felt like she'd vomit up her whole stomach. Her face was pale. Hold up, messed up my headphones. Give me a moment. Here we go. Her face was pale and her gaze wavered, and yet the coughing continued. Even so, her sadness was probably even stronger. After having her sit on the bed, Cannon took a bronchodilator from a cute little basket on a nearby side table and handed it to her. Jessica sometimes forgot to take her medicine with her. Whenever this seemed to have happened, Cannon would take notice and secretly carry around the inhaler from the first aid kit in the servant room, but he hadn't done so today. He scolded himself as though wondering how he could call himself furniture after failing to bring it with him on a day like this. Then he remembered the day when he'd used that word and somehow betrayed Jessica's feelings. It jarred Cannon's heart, but he felt it would be indiscreet to think about something like that, considering how Jessica felt now, and he locked it up inside the depths of his heart. When she inhaled her medicine, Jessica's wild breathing calmed down bit by bit, and she was finally able to regain her composure. But she'd lost too much strength and willpower to get up from the bed. Are you alright, milady? I'm alright. I'm all messed up over Mom and Dad. But after I cry a bit more, I'll be alright. Cannon regretted his poor choice of words. Did he really say, "Are you alright" to her? Was he really that clueless of the pain in her heart? This was what made him furniture. This was why he couldn't become human. I'll be in the corridor. If you need anything, please call me immediately. Cannon understood that she still needed some time to cry alone. He told her to call him at any time, bowed, and tried to leave the room. Do you need something? Jessica had spoken up as though she wanted him to stop, so Cannon had stopped. If she asks it, I'll do anything I can to help her. Right now, I'd even become a cane or a chair if it would help ease the pain in her heart. If by doing that I could make up for the pain I dealt to her heart on that day. For a while, Jessica stared into Cannon's eyes. It was as though her reason for stopping him was something she couldn't put into words. For a while, neither spoke. Jessica broke that silence with a small voice. I'm sorry. It's nothing. Could you tell Aunt Rosa that I want to be alone for a while? I won't let you be alone. Huh? I won't let you be alone. So, I will be in the corridor. Please call for me at any time. For just an instant, it looked like some kind of hope had flitted into Jessica's eyes. But it was very faint, and disappeared like the first snow on the surface of a river. Thanks. Let me cry alone for just a bit. Yes. Excuse me. Cannon bowed once again and closed the door. He thought those words of his would give her some courage. But now it felt as though they'd actually hurt her for some reason. Why? He didn't know. Surely that was because he was furniture. That was why he couldn't grasp human sadness even now. As Cannon repeatedly questioned himself, he walked down the corridor. He felt like the window at the corridor's end was coolly calling to him. In the end, am I nothing more than furniture after all? It was still pouring outside, a dark gray world. Even on days like this, Shannon would surely see the ocean and know that it was blue. But to my eyes, even if it cleared up, I would only see gray. Until I can understand the blue of the ocean, I'll be nothing but furniture imitating a person. You really don't understand a woman's heart, do you? At times like that, you ought to silently remain by her side. That is why you're furniture. You! There shouldn't have been any trace of human life in this corridor. It had been an empty corridor filled with frigid air. But those scoffing words approached Cannon from behind. When he turned around, he saw that witch. That witch who hadn't shown herself when Jessica had searched for her with a rage bordering on madness, and who had left that sneering letter to toy with Jessica. There are 3 ways to hurt a woman. Let me teach you them. One is to hurt them with a blade. Another is to hurt them in their heart. The last way is the most difficult and most effective method of hurting them. And yet it can hurt them without you even realizing it. Do you know what I mean? How could I know? I don't even want to know. It's to betray their expectations. No living being is more of a dreamer than a woman. They make up dreams all on their own and end up hurting their own selves. The distant man like you hurts women the most. You couldn't understand. You have no idea how deeply you've wounded Jessica. After all, you're furniture.
I have no intention of playing along with your nonsense. Did you appear only to sneer at me?
Don't be so full of yourself, furniture. You aren't worth sneering at. Still, though you may not be worth my time on your own, if the two of you are gathered, that's all I need. The pleasure that comes from laughing at the fates of young couples never tires me.
What did you say? You don't mean Milady is going to be...
I need two who are close for the sacrifices of the second twilight. The two of you truly are convenience.
Wait! Don't misunderstand. Milady and I don't have that kind of relationship. We can't become the sacrifices for the second twilight.
That's why you hurt Jessica. That's why you cannot become human. Then there should be no problem. If you won't admit that you have feelings for Jessica, I can accept that. But I will kill her.
Why? You idiot!
Isn't it obvious? It'll be fun to kill her and see your face twist in pain. Why else? Following the rules of the ceremony, 13 people will be sacrificed on my whims. However, there's no rule that says I can't kill more. If it amuses me, I can kill any number of people, so I will. Make me laugh as hard as I can, and the furniture. At that time, Cannon definitely heard Jessica scream. When he blinked and looked down the corridor, the witch who'd supposedly been there so nonchalantly just a second ago was gone. At that moment, he was standing there alone, all alone in the corridor, doing nothing. And the person he wanted to protect was asking for help from far away in that direction. It was obvious what he should do. It wasn't logical. It was an electric reflex. Without a trace of hesitation or distraction, there was a person he wanted to protect, and she was asking for help. And at that moment, he genuinely wanted the person by her side to be him. When he flew into Jessica's room, the scene that greeted his eyes was a bizarre one. The room had become a fantastical world, where a blizzard of gold-colored specks danced, almost as though gold leaf had been scattered inside a snow globe. No, that's not it. I've seen this spectacle before. This isn't gold leaf. It's countless golden butterflies, Beatrice's minions. Jessica was surrounded by countless butterflies, waving her hands around, trying frantically to drive them away.
Milady! Cannon-kun! Help!
Cannon rushed towards Jessica and violently brushed the cloud of butterflies away. The butterflies, which were sickening despite their beauty, surrounded Jessica's face, trying to crawl in through her mouth and nose. Jessica choked violently, almost as though the butterflies were triggering an asthma attack, mocking her. But when Cannon ran towards her, the butterflies stopped attacking and began to dance an elegant rondo around the pair.
Cannon-kun! Cannon-kun!
It's okay.
While there's still life in me, I won't let anyone lay a finger on you. Come out, Beatrice! Are you happy now?
As he stood guard in front of Jessica, who was using her inhaler and seemed to be in pain, Cannon yelled into the empty air. And when he did, the empty air did indeed laugh back, satisfied. Then she showed herself. Oh look, quick costume switch. It wasn't in response to Cannon's demand. It was obviously because appearing and steering would bring them even more humiliation, and plus, it was more fun. Now everything fits to the plot. Now you're carp on the chopping board. No, since we've got a pair of you, I should call it duck with green onions. Or should I call it duck with green onions? Alright, how is that significant? Let's see here. Tips. Grimoire. Duck and onions. Duck and green onions are the primary ingredients for a duck stew, and this gave rise to the Japanese phrase, a duck comes bearing green onions, in which a duck approaches carrying its own seasoning, ready to be eaten. This metaphorically refers to a situation where a series of lucky coincidences benefits you without any effort, or alternatively, where a naive person brings you what you want while unaware of the disadvantage to themselves. Perhaps because of this, a mark or a sucker in terms of scams is often called a duck in Japanese. Huh. Interesting.
You... Beatrice? Please stand back. I'll protect you, milady.
When the princess and knight come together, it's inevitable that the witch will appear. Yes, why don't you show me how much power Kinzo's furniture can muster? She snapped her fingers with a piercing sound. When she did, a blizzard of gold butterflies was stirred up, and they began to form a small mountain as they whirled around in a circle. It was just like the swirling of a cold, wintry wind that builds up a mountain of leaves. From that mound of gold, a hand sprouted, and it appeared, as though a resident of the world below was crawling up from beneath the ground.
What is this? What the hell is this?
Jessica couldn't comprehend what she was seeing right now, and her mouth kept flapping open and closed. It was the bite of wisdom seen in those trying to understand something incomprehensible. That thing crawling up was probably an attendant who served the witch. It appeared to be wearing a uniform suitable for one who served. But its face was wrong. It looked strange. It was covered with pitch black hair, breathed rotten breath, and its eyes were filled with the same strange subterranean glow as lava. And to symbolize its non-human status, it had 2 horns. It was the figure of a goat-faced attendant who served the witch. By now, Jessica had no idea what she should say. All this happening in front of her couldn't be explained with common sense, and she couldn't do anything except open and close her mouth. Jessica hadn't realized. She hadn't realized that this island had already been cut off from the rules of our world. But there were some things even she could understand. This goat attendant served the witch, and was after her life. And apparently, the witch had already given it the order. She was looking at Cannon with an expectant gaze. She looked at him with an expectant and therefore challenging gaze, as though asking him how he intended to protect this maiden. Though the attendant had looked especially bestial while crawling to its feet, you could see in the way it carried itself that it possessed more than enough grace to be worthy of serving the Golden Witch. and you could tell that it was overflowing with the joy of furniture wanting to meet its master's expectations. Well then, why don't you show me? Let's see the power of Kinzo's furniture. This time, don't get the wrong idea, okay? Don't forget that you're furniture, got it? If you try to continue playing the human even now, this won't be settled by your death alone. The goat attendant made what seemed to be a silent, respectful bow. Was it directed at its master, or was it offered to Canon, its opponent? Then on the attendant's hand, a blade of wicked malice appeared. So, goat, blade of malice, versus Canon. Well, I know one other place that malice comes from. Not quite the right animal, but could this be Canon versus Ganon? I'll see myself out.
What the hell is that?
Jessica had been unable to understand what was happening before her eyes for a while now. All she understood was that this glow in front of her existed for the purpose of ending her life. Hold on. And right now, that was enough. Canon spoke quietly to Jessica, who was hiding behind his back.
Milady, please stay back against the wall. Never let your back leave the wall. What?
It's only right for the maiden to obediently hide behind the great knight's back. I do hope you enjoy the pleasure of having your life protected by a man. Now, Canon, let's have a look at your blade. Nice timing, Mickey. Thank you. You know, there's a part of me that almost thinks that calls for that's what she said. Canon, let's have a look at your blade. Anyway, sorry. Beautiful. At least when it comes to giving birth to furniture, Kinzo might even reach up as far as my feet.
A thing like this can't even be used to trim the roses.
Canon-kun, what's...
I didn't want to show you.
So you've taken it out. How does it feel to expose your subhumanity in front of the girl you care for?
Be silent.
So you'll act composed even though you were really burning with wrath? Yes, they do say that truly hot flames burn a cool blue. Is that how you are now?
There's no way I can kill you with my power. You are the moon. I can never smash the moon by throwing a rock. However, in order to manifest yourself, you've had to reflect your image off the surface of the water. If you throw a rock at the surface of the water, you might be able to disturb the moon's image for some time. But that doesn't mean the moon has been smashed. So, until this life of mine is over, I'll keep on striking your reflection.
I like it, Canon. Begin, furniture. Oh, what a beautiful curve. The witch's words of admiration broke the silence, and just for an instant, they broke Jessica's paralysis.
Am I dreaming? creature of the witch. I'll beat you down to the hell you came from.
A strand of red had been left on Cannon's cheek. The witch saw this and grinned broadly. Feel free to mutter excuses about how your instincts still haven't returned quite yet.
Cannon-kun, stay strong. It's okay. I won't die just yet.
The curve drawn by the goat attendant's blade drew a large arc in an empty space. Cannon wasn't there. He was behind it.
Go back and await your master's return. Die.
If this battle of drawing sparkling curves was chess, then Cannon coming from behind was check. And press and press and press and press. Use 7 moves and make it mate. Perhaps the goat attendant hadn't even been granted the ability to go into death throes. As its knees buckled and it fell over, it broke into a bunch of gold butterflies with a pop. So there was no sound of it hitting the ground. Even those unable to understand this battle would surely realize that Cannon had been magnificent. So it couldn't win against a handmade piece. It seems you aren't quite that pathetic.
You're next, Beatrice!
The instant Cannon's blade sliced diagonally through the witch's form like a knife through butter, she turned gold and burst. She scattered into several thousand gold butterflies, and just for an instant the room was filled with the color of twilight. It was just as Cannon himself had said. Slicing Beatrice was just the same as slicing the surface of the water where the moon was reflected. The witch's form, with an ordinary expression on its face, as though she'd been there the whole time, was right behind Cannon. You've provided quite an entertaining show. Out of respect for that, I thought about letting you off the hook, but your rudeness now has made me change my mind.
Don't lie. I won't let you kill my lady. Even if that's impossible, I won't let you kill her while I still live.
You can't even do that much. Do not speak, furniture. Be silent, furniture. Know your place, furniture.
Cannon-kun isn't furniture.
Oh? And what makes you think that?
I don't need a reason. Cannon-kun is Cannon-kun. No, his real name's different, but a name doesn't make him furniture. Cannon-kun has his own way of living. That's a noble thing, and if it's something he gets to decide for himself. You say he can't have an opinion because he's furniture, and that he can't live his own life because he's furniture? That's wrong! My lady, you mustn't provoke her. No, I've got to make this clear. Cannon-kun isn't furniture. He's human. Why? Cannon-kun rushed to... Why? Cannon-kun rushed to save me of his own free will. And he stood in the path of a fearsome witch like you. He had so many chances to just let me go, but he didn't. Self-sacrifice is part of the noble spirit that only humans have. That means Cannon-kun's human. So take it back. Don't you call Cannon-kun furniture again. My lady.
Be silent, human! Let's end this quickly, since this is still just the second twilight after all. Now I shall sacrifice the two who are close, who have not acknowledged each other's dignity. Well then, arise, forgive the sin. One of the 7 stakes of purgatory, lust. The witch summoned her furniture with a mixture of laughter and anger on her face. Asmodeus of Lust, right here. I've had enough of this farce. Quickly, execute the second twilight. Don't keep me waiting, got it? As you command. Another weirdo's shown up. It took Canon less than an instant to understand. That goat face from a second ago had been nothing more than a pawn to the witch. However, this newly summoned furniture was a game piece with a vastly different value. Wow, I must be lucky to have been given such wonderful prey. You scared? How cute!
Come, furniture of the witch. I won't be killed by you.
You're acting pretty smart for a dunce who can't even follow me with his eyes. Here I go, okay? Hey, where do you want it? Where do you want me to pierce you? Answer me, cutie. I'll pierce you good wherever you want. Come on, answer me, cutie.
Don't call me cute!
Here I go, you dunce. Come on, try to follow me, you blind idiot.
Lady! I couldn't follow it with my eyes, but my guess was spot on. Serves you right.
Cannon's back had been the target, but Jessica had predicted it. She predicted that the witch's target would be the complete opposite of fair and honest, his back. But she had no way to block it. She hadn't planned on it being some act of self-sacrifice. She just couldn't think of any other way to protect Cannon's back. So she could do nothing but block it with her own back. The furniture of the witch, which had changed its form into a demon's stake, was buried deep into Jessica's back. It was an obviously fatal wound that reached as far as her lungs. When she saw this, the witch let out a loud, evil laugh, because it had hit where the witch had predicted. Everything was as the witch had predicted. What's wrong, Cannon? Milady Jessica just got killed while you still lived, didn't she? Yes, that's it, that face. That look on your face is what I wanted to see. How truly enjoyable. That's enough. Die, make me laugh. Come, arise, forgive the sin. One of the 7 stakes of purgatory, wrath. Satan of wrath, right here. This prey is yours. Eat him up right now and close the curtain on his stage. If you were human, I'd say it's time for you to step down. But since you're furniture, maybe I should say it's time for the stage manager to carry you behind the stage.
I am not furniture anymore. I won't doubt that again.
Oh, what's this? You want to be killed by me again? Your chest, it's so warm and it feels so good to pierce it. Come on, let me have another taste, okay? Won't you make me feel really good with that hot, fresh blood in that warm chest of yours? There was no way to block it. The sound of a woodpecker filled the entire room, and before he could blink, he was already right in the center of his chest. When you take a piece in chess, the rules say that it's impossible for your opponent's piece to defend itself. So this was an obvious result, in accordance with the rules. Cannon landed on his knees, and he apologized. Not to the witch, and not to Milady. He apologized to Jessica.
I'm sorry. I couldn't protect you. Don't worry about it. You're really cool.
Cannon finally fell over. He landed next to Jessica, and the two lay there like the constellation Gemini.
You know, Cannon-kun, you aren't furniture anymore. Yes, I was too late in realizing that. I wanted to ask you what your real name was. My real name is...
In his last moments, Cannon wanted to tell her his real name. But Jessica had already fallen into a sleep from which she would never wake. So Cannon's real name, which he had protected until today, in the end, he couldn't tell it to Jessica.
I became you, but
those were the last words Cannon left behind. Don't make me laugh, furniture! Even after 100 years, furniture will still be furniture! Have you ever heard of anyone stupid enough to dig a grave for their furniture when they throw it away? You smash furniture to pieces and make firewood, so that all that's left is ashes! That's how it is. Furniture gets no tombstone. It seems you believe death means an end to your humiliation, but that's naive. I'll show you what it really means to disgrace the dead. After taking a puff from her pipe, the witch breathed the smoke at Cannon's corpse. When she did, Cannon's corpse softly floated up into the air and disappeared as though it had been eaten by a mouth in empty space. The witch played dirty until the very end. The corpses of the pair who managed to understand each other in the end were not even permitted to be close. If someone had been watching, they would probably say mournfully, "So this is what you meant by disgracing the dead." However, Beatrice was far crueler than that. The reason for that would soon become apparent. Let's turn the clocks back just a bit. Okay, with that, since we're at a chapter break, I am going to get up, move about for a bit, put on an ad break while I'm gone. If you're not subscribed, you'll see the ads. If you are subscribed, you'll see the Be Right Back screen. And we're back. Alright, give me just a moment. Let me adjust my headset because it doesn't feel quite right here. There we go. I see. So it has begun. Yes. Even though Kinzo had received news of 6 deaths, his emotions did not waver. The expression on his face as he gazed out the window was a smile, as though his opponent in a chess game had just made a spectacular move. It was hard to imagine that such an expression could ever appear on a father who had lost so many children at once. Goda and Cannon followed Rosa-sama's orders and went to call the police. After that, she ordered us to follow your orders, Master. What shall we do? This island has already been cut off from the real world. Mere phones will serve no purpose. Should I have them stop? Until the roulette is finished, what they do to pass the time is up to them. Let them do as they please. Yes, sir.
What should we tell Rosa-sama?
Didn't I say they should pass the time as they pleased? They can sing if they want, dance if they want. They're even free to hang themselves by the neck or jump into a boiling kettle. Until 13 people die, they can spend their time as they like. If that's too boring, then they could wonder about whether 6 times 9 is 42 or something. That's the answer to the mystery of humanity and the universe. I forgot about that. I understood that reference too, Mickey. Beautiful. Just beautiful.
Yes. My apologies.
Shannon cowered in fright at this sudden rage. Genji made a gesture as though he was telling her not to speak out of turn. Shannon couldn't help but regret saying too much. However, you two are also free to do as you wish. Genji, and Shannon too. You have done well by serving me until today.
Your words are too good for me, but,
We have heard that you have sworn to serve the Master. We stand ready to serve you no matter the time. Until the very end. I want to tell the two of you about everything. Shannon, I shall be writing a will. Please copy what I say. Genji, please, my usual drink.
huh? Yes, sir.
Nanjo often recommended that Kinzo write a will because of his health, but each time he had, Kinzo had gone mad with rage. Ever since then, you'd think will would have been the word Kinzo hated most. After hearing such a word come from his lips, Shannon couldn't help doubting her ears for an instant. Lord have mercy. Shannon hurriedly prepared the side table and some writing paper. Genji followed his orders and began preparing that usual green evil drink. I didn't realize they had Last Jedi milk here. Sorry.
I'm ready.
Where should I begin? Shall I also speak of my life? It would be fun to leave behind a record of my most memorable games. It can be truly amusing to read the records of old games from centuries past, to journey in search of those players' thoughts. So should the game record of my life lead those in the future to go on a journey in search for my thoughts? For a while, Kinzo pondered over where he should begin, strutting all over the room with his hands behind his back. Master, here. Ah, yes. Thank you, my friend. Well then, if I must speak of my life, I must begin by writing of my meeting with that witch. Shannon, begin writing. My first meeting with Beatrice took place a long way back. What year of the Showa era was it? It must have been at the end of the war, so... We took enough time to regain our calm, and we each swore to our parents that we'd catch the culprit. It'd be a lie to say that we weren't still torn up. Even now, if we let our guards down just a little, we'd probably start going on a rampage just like Jessica, letting our emotions show with some kind of violence. According to what Goda-san had said after he got back, right now, Kanon-kun was looking after Jessica. Apparently, she was still very emotionally high-strung. I see. Thank you. Maybe a young kid would be better at understanding a young kid's feelings. It would probably be better if we left them alone for now.
Rosa-san, there's nothing more to be gained by remaining here. The phones may not be working, but tomorrow the boat will come and we should be able to reach the police. We should leave this place as it is for the police's investigation. I agree with Dr. Nanjo. Staying at a place like this for too long will be bad for your health. Let us return and make some black tea.
Yeah, I agree with that. Battler-kun, George-kun, are you ready? Let's lock up here. We ought to leave this place as it is anyway, for when the police come. You're right. Battler-kun, are you okay? Yeah. I've cried all I can. I'm fine now. The police would surely find some evidence during their thorough investigation, but we weren't adult enough to wait for that. I'd investigated the chapel in my own way, trying to grab the culprit before the police arrived, and what I figured out was absolutely nothing, frustratingly. I wasn't able to find a single hint. Come on, let's go out. Maria, we're going. Don't keep staring at it. Ooh. Come, Maria-sama. Let us return. It's cold here. Father, Mother, thank you for everything. I will definitely become a man who doesn't betray your expectations. George spoke his last words of farewell to his parents. After seeing that, Battler followed suit. Dad, Kirie-san. Just looking at their faces, it looked like they were sleeping, but that just made it even more painful. Forgive me for leaving you in a cold place like this. I'll definitely get whoever did this. No matter what. What is this? What a repulsive scribble. Did the culprit draw it?
This is worse than vulgar. Horrible.
When the door to this chapel was closed, we learned about that creepy scribble for the first time.
When we first found this, it was already drawn here. It must have been made by the culprit.
So supposedly, the culprit was a witch, and this is a magic circle to summon a demon or something? This is the 7th magic circle of the sun. Don't you even know that? Ouch! Hey! Don't I always tell you not to make that creepy laugh? Maria, go on. What does it mean? It's a magic circle to escape from physical or mental bonds. And the part written around the circumference says, "The Lord has freed me from my chains. I will offer you
I will offer to you the sacrifice of thanksgiving, and will call upon the name of the Lord. In Hebrew is what it's written.
A sacrifice of thanksgiving? So they killed Father and the rest of them to use as... and the rest to use them as human sacrifices for this magic circle? Calm down, George-kun. This is the culprit trying to provoke us. I'm sure it doesn't mean anything. Thinking about it will only poison the heart. And looks like there's some English written here. Happy Halloween for Maria. I get it. And the key to open this door was handed over to Maria. That's what's going on. Well, this is the chapel after all. Maybe Maria doesn't mean Maria-chan, but the Virgin Mary. In that case, you could read this as a blasphemy against God in the name of Halloween. They say witches who make contracts with demons swear to defile God's name at all times. In that sense, this really is a witch-like crime. Sounds like you know a lot about it. Did you get that from Maria? Yeah, something like that. The chapel, huh? They went to all the trouble of calling them out here and killing them. Aunt Rosa, does this chapel have some special meaning? What do you mean, a special meaning? Well, someone carried 6 human corpses all the way over here and set up these elaborate decorations. We can't tell if she called the 6 of them over here before killing them or if she killed them before carrying them over here. But either way, it'd take a lot of effort. Why did the culprit want 6 people to die here? True.
By doing something that elaborate, there would be an extremely high chance of some disadvantageous evidence being found when the police arrive. It's inconceivable that the culprit would fail to realize this. The issue now is why the culprit went to all that effort.
And that leads us to just one question. What meaning is there to this place where we found the 6 corpses? This chapel was important to Father. Ever since I was a kid, I was given strict instructions never to enter it. Ooh, I came here once too, got in lots of trouble. Ooh. An important chapel. Does it have some connection to the Ushiromiya head family? I don't know. Father viewed this chapel as very sacred, and he treasured it so much that he even had it redecorated several times. But as everyone knows, Father wasn't a devout believer, as his passion for black magic demonstrates. I've never heard of him coming here to offer his prayers to God. As far as I know, the Master has never come here. We even call this the Sealed Chapel, and, I found it eerie like a haunted house. Even though Father never approached... Even though Father never even approached it himself, for some reason he made the servants give it a major cleaning several times a year. It felt like he kept it clean all the time so that it could be used at any moment. And even so, it's called the Sealed Chapel. Maybe it's indiscreet to say this, but doesn't that sound pretty cool? Dr. Nanjo, you're an old friend of Grandfather's, right? Have you heard anything about it?
I did ask about it once long ago, but I forget exactly how he dodged my question. That's right, I believe he said something like, someday perhaps I too will be able to receive a blessing there. But unless a miracle occurs, that day will never come.
What does that mean? What would he do in a chapel? It couldn't mean his own funeral, right?
I wouldn't believe that of Kinzo-san. He was a man much more focused on the living now than matters occurring after death. Although this does seem to be the root of the current inheritance problem.
Now what would he do in a chapel? Pray? Aren't confessions done in a chapel too? Anyway, it sounds suspicious. I don't know the reason, but just as Dr. Nanjo said in Grandfather's eyes, all this about not being blessed unless a miracle occurred was set in stone as far back as this chapel's construction.
How do you know that? See, it's clearly written over there. Look, right there. George Anarchy pointed to a relief with rusted gold letters on the arch above the door. It looked like some message had been written there in English. The rust made it clear that the message had been there ever since the chapel's construction. I'm not that good with English. What is it? This door is opened only at probability of... Sorry, my English sucks. I gave up after failing to finish even the first of the two lines. It looked like the others could read it properly. I think it went MBTQ, so... how many times... How many did that mean? I think, Anyway, this is incredible. Adding up all the fingers on both hands doesn't even get you close. It really would be impossible unless a miracle occurred.
Certainly. It's quite reminiscent of the old Kinzo-san who loved using gambling as a metaphor whenever he got the chance.
Hey, come on, can everyone read it? Someone tell me what it means too. You gotta at least learn English. How did you get into high school without even being able to read this much? Ouch! 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 Mind your own business.
So, what's written there?
Simply put, it means something like this. Unless a miracle occurs, this door will never be opened. Unless a miracle occurs, you will never be blessed. Grandfather's magic is based on astronomically low probabilities. In other words, a miracle for opening this door would probably require an incredibly vast amount of magical power. Ouch!
Nice job, you can shut up now. Rosa-san, did you have Maria take English classes? It looks like it's useless to try and learn English unless you start when you're young after all. A sealed chapel, huh? Setting aside whether she was a witch or not, it's rumored that Beatrice actually existed several decades ago and was grandfather's mistress.
This is, just my imagination, but perhaps the master truly did love Beatrice-sama. However, he was already married, so they couldn't be united.
I see. If Beatrice was dead and could be revived with the magic of a miracle, then now that grandmother's dead, he could marry her openly. And if they married in this chapel, might end up with a pretty fairy tale-like story, right? I don't think that story is so preposterous. It's a well-known fact that father still loves Beatrice deeply. Also, even though I said I found it creepy, I seem to remember that the interior of the chapel was quite magnificent. The thought that father built this chapel in the hopes of having a wedding with his dead mistress might not be that unlikely. By the time he built this chapel, grandfather probably knew that he would never use it as a church as long as he lived. But he prayed for the witch to be revived by some miracle. And he thought that if that miracle occurred, they could be married here. I see. And if you think of it that way, this would be a place of utmost significance to Beatrice-sama as well, even though he knew the chapel would never be opened. It's a story of tragic love. Even the Gogoda-sama was even bigger than me. His words were touching. Everyone was silent, but it seemed they agreed with that view.
Even though he knew it was a chapel never to be opened, he still probably dreamed of the day that a miracle would occur. Kinzo-san was quite the romantic in his younger days. I think I understand how he felt.
I wonder. Then again, everyone went in it 4 times a year to clean, right? So much for it being the sealed chapel. Didn't we just go in ourselves? That wasn't a miracle or anything. We bought the key and click and we're in. That's all. This is ridiculous. Huh? What? Then, what does that mean? What are you talking about?
As far as I could tell, I'd just been joking around, finding myself a bit irritated by this sob story this was turning into. But then Aunt Rosa suddenly jumped on me with a really serious face. Aunt Rosa's face grew increasingly pale. She looked at the magic circle on the door and then at her hand, back and forth, back and forth.
What is the matter, Rosa-sama?
Hey, Goda-san, the key to this chapel. Didn't Genshi-san say it? He said there was only one! Huh? It took you all way too long to figure it out. When a kid pulls a prank, it sometimes goes unnoticed by the adults, and the kid who did it gets all disappointed. If such a prank then gets sprung on someone much later, it can really make a kid's day. Maria's celebration just now looked a lot like that.
Yes, that's right. There is only one of those keys. It's the key to the Master's treasured chapel, so there is only one with no duplicates. It's normally kept safe in the key box in the servant room, but...
That's right. And Genji-san had said gone missing. So someone stole it, put it in an envelope, and handed it to Maria? And they did it yesterday? What the... Wait, so in other words... isn't that strange? That's absurd. This is getting bizarre.
What do you mean? I don't have a clue what you're talking about.
Me neither. Would you explain it for us?
Goda and Nanjo's failure to understand definitely wasn't because they were stupid. They didn't know. They didn't know how long the only key to the chapel had been in Maria's possession. There's no mistake. It was locked up. I unlocked it. There's no doubt. And Rosa kept closing the door, locking it, pulling it on it to check the lock, and opening it again. Her face was becoming pale again. Until I took the key out of Maria's envelope and opened this door, it was definitely locked. But this key was in an envelope placed in Maria's care. And that happened yesterday before noon.
What did you say? But that doesn't make any sense.
You're right. Maria received a one-of-a-kind key from a woman calling herself a witch midday yesterday. In other words, from midday yesterday until this morning, when Rosa-san unlocked its door, this chapel was a closed room. How did they get those 6 people in here, and then how did they kill them? The deaths of 6 people had shaken us badly. When we learned about that weird magic circle and the history of the chapel, we felt as though we'd figured at least part of this puzzle out. But that was all absolutely trivial. From midday yesterday until this morning, this chapel was a closed room. But our parents were with us until last night. How did the culprit get into this building? And how did they lock it up again? What are you trying to pull? Again? A closed room, again! Are you trying to say you unlocked it with the power of magic? Don't take me for a fool. If you're demanding that I show you how to open locks with my power, I wouldn't mind. But that wouldn't be the same as me forcing you to surrender. You keep trying to explain it all with humans. Only when I've cornered all your theories completely will I have my victory. Come now, how will you undermine my defenses? What trick could a human have used to defeat them, It's just like the closed rooms last time. Not enough information. It's impossible to reason like this. Any excuse could be made. Any trick could work. There's no way to reason it out. That again. There's not enough information, so you'll wait and see? Your information is uncertain, so it's impossible to use your reasoning. This is always the excuse you humans use to let yourself stop thinking. Who do you think you are, lowly human? Are you saying you can't even think unless you're like Laplace's demon, you incompetent fool? Besides, you make it seem like a lack of information works against you, but it's the other way around, you see. The more information you're given, the more it will make you suffer. It'll only increase the strength of the compressor that's squeezing you.
Oh, in that case, let me say this. It's impossible to verify that this is a closed room in the first place. If we're already talking about demons, I can play that game too. It'd be possible to prove that this isn't a closed room. Just show how someone could have gone in or out and you're done. But it's impossible to prove that this is a closed room. You could never deny that the endless set of possible methods for getting in. In other words, this is one of those devil's proofs. This concept of a closed room is actually something that can never be proved. So first you stopped thinking with the lack of information as an excuse, and now this. Very well. If that's your move, then I will accept it. Continue. First off, it looks like you're trying to claim that the chapel's a closed room. Just a short while ago, I spent some time looking around in there, and I couldn't find any way in or out except for the door. But that just means I couldn't find one. It doesn't prove it was a closed room. If there's a hidden door or something that I wasn't able to find, your premise would be blown away completely. In other words, whether I managed to find a hidden door or not, you'll never be able to deny that there existed some method X that would let you into the closed room. And this method X would be something that could be carried out without magic. After all, it's a hidden door. I'm sure that in this chapel there's some hidden door that's impossible to find. That's why there's no reason for me to reason it out, and magic is still impossible. Oh, so you'll use that logic. How naive. An expected move? Let me make my move in response. These closed rooms used in detective novels made by mere humans always seem utterly ridiculous to me. Why? Because they're used the wrong way. When a closed room appears in a detective novel, do you really think it's a closed room? You don't, do you? What trick did they use to make this look like a closed room? That's what you think. In other words, there hasn't been a completed closed room in any of closed room murders that humans have built over the last century. Ooh. Better not say that unless you want to face the wrath of the mystery fans. Christie's probably grinding her teeth in her grave. But I am different. I have given birth to a true closed room. And I can demonstrate it. Why? Because I am a witch. For the devil's proof, you only had to bring someone a demon to prove that they exist, correct? Well, I conveniently happen to be a witch, meaning that my demons are my good friends, and I can bring you as many of them as you like. Sounds great. Dad and the rest use a hidden door to enter the chapel, and we're carried in through it. How do you plan to beat that move? With this. Regardless of whether they were alive or dead, the six definitely entered through the door. Huh? Dumbass! Hey, Christonium, welcome. Glad to have you here. How's it going? Alright, give me just a moment here, folks. And giving Christonium a shout out. Go check them out. They've been playing Satisfactory. I've also seen them play some Monster Hunter Rise. Lots of different content you can find there on Christonium's channel, so be sure to check them out. Also, getting to affiliate, so any help you can give them would be great. Excuse me. Just got out of work, long day. I understand that, believe me. Alright, let me hydrate a little bit more here. Oh, sorry. Semi-lurk. Okay, well, thank you for semi-lurking. Huh? Dumbass! The door was locked, so how'd they do it? I opened it with magic and invited them inside. That can't be true! Since I can't accept magic, there's no way I'll accept that. You're lying! That door can be opened with some trick. Or maybe there's a hidden door, but I won't accept any other way. Perpetual check. That's what we call an endless repetition of moves in chess. It's the same endless repetition as a discussion that won't advance because both sides deny the basis of each other's claims, like our game.
In most games, this would be resolved as a draw, but that would put a terrible damper on our fun. We will have no draws. You will either accept me and submit to me, or you will deny me.
At least I agree with you there. We'll settle this without fail, just as you wish.
I like that attitude. So I had a thought. I think I'll add a new rule to this game between the two of us.
A new rule? I'll bet it's something that'll give you an advantage, right?
Of course not. I'll give you the thing people like you always demand. The reason you always stop thinking and then moan about it is a lack of information. And if you are then given information, you start doubting whether the information is true or not by rejecting the source. Isn't that convenient? What clever little words to hide your own incompetence. I'm offering to eliminate that convenient excuse of yours. You should thank me.
You said they entered through the door, and I said that couldn't happen. Are you calling that an evasive answer?
Exactly. So from now on, when I speak the truth, I will use red.
What is this? Keep explaining.
No matter what magical move I use, you can always keep running away by chanting lack of information and by rejecting the source. Even though I would still win in the end that way, it would be extremely boring. Because of that, I'd be happy to give you the information and sources you so desire. However, you'll probably doubt each word I say. That isn't bad in itself. I also will use every possible move to make you submit. I don't dislike our posture of searching out our best moves for our own goals. But that won't make a game. So I set up this rule. Everything I speak in red is the truth. There's absolutely no need to doubt it.
Are you telling me to believe that?
This is a game between you and me. In the game, rules are sacred. Those who take that lightly are not qualified to play.
Okay, I'll get you. I'll accept that rule. Even an elementary school kid can get into an endless argument and find fault with everything. Let's start it up again, continuing where we left off. I'll say it one more time. Dad and the rest of you, it's a hidden door to enter the chapel, or we're carried in through it.
Then I shall repeat what I said. Regardless of whether they were alive or dead, the 6 definitely entered through the door.
Is there any proof?
Stop! I will supplement the rule. When I speak the truth, I will use red. And when I do, I will not bear the responsibility of establishing that claim by showing proof. They will simply be facts and the truth. My reason is simple. I carried out all the crimes with magic. So for any impossible crime, all I have to do is wave my magic staff and show you how it's done. But that wouldn't make a game. It would be as barbaric as ignoring victory and defeat in a chess match and punching your opponent in the face.
Well, that makes sense. Since you're a witch, there's no need for you to show evidence what happened. Since you can do anything with magic. Damn it. Talk about an unfair game.
So, shall we resume once more? The 6 definitely entered through the door. I unlocked it with magic. How will you get around this magic, this closed room?
The key! Genji-san and the others said there was only one key, but that's impossible to prove. The culprit secretly made a duplicate key.
Only one key to the chapel exists.
And what about this? The culprit made something other than a legitimate key and opened it. I don't know what, maybe a wire. A tool for picking locks.
What is this naive move? It's impossible to unlock the lock to the chapel with anything but the chapel's key. Although it can be opened with the power of magic, right?
Then what about this? There's something wrong with the door itself. There was some way to pass through it even while it was locked. So what that is, I can think of a few ways. Maybe it's like those big doors in a castle that have a smaller door in them. It's also possible that they remove the hinges and then remove the whole door before entering.
Is this the best century of human wisdom can manage, battler? When the door to a chapel... When the door to the chapel is locked, it prevents any and all methods of entry or exit. Assuming you can't lose magic, right? Is it about time for checkmate? Not even close! You said those 6 people entered through a door, but you didn't say it was the front door! They might have entered through another door, a secret one! You talk too much, you incompetent fool. Then let me expand on my earlier move. The 6 definitely entered through this front door. That's screwed up! The door was locked and it's impossible to unlock without using that single key, and yet 6 people entered through it! How? With magic, you say? Oh, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it! Are we already seeing the limits of what humanity can manage? Then shout that you resign. When one admits defeat, it's customary to shout it out and knock over their own king. So, do you resign? Then announce your surrender and knock over your king by kneeling. Then you may kiss my shoes. There could be no greater joy than forcing a man like you to lick my shoes. Damn it. It's useless, useless, useless. So I can't win against the witch. This isn't chess at all. I've just been made to take the losing side in a chess puzzle. Scribbling about details and getting the draw the best I can manage. And that's the one thing that'll never happen. Either I will surrender or you will. There can be no other resolution. What happened to the bravery you displayed when you said that this would be torture for us both? Hey, 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 what a disappointment. A total letdown. Wouldn't you say Ushiromi a battler? Damn it! What should I do? What should I do? I can see it. I can see the place where I'll face checkmate. It's useless, it's useless. All my hard-fought moves have been nothing more than me desperately moving my king around, running away from check. No matter how many times I move, I can't escape from check. So even without waiting for the next several moves, I can see checkmate in my future. Ah, damn it! After a few more moves, I can see where I'll face checkmate. Don't give up, Ushiromi a battler. If I can see myself getting closed in upon, then if I spin the chessboard around, I should be able to anticipate her next move, right? Remember what Kyrie-san said. When you're thinking about something, the closer you get to the very, very end, the easier it becomes to anticipate. Spin it around. Spin the chessboard around. What happened? You fell silent all of a sudden. Fear not. Surrender is but a momentary shame. After that, all that remains is the joy of entrusting your fate entirely to the hands of your new master. Come on, cry out in resignation. I can't hear you. Speak up and say it clearly. Enough babbling. You're just refusing to listen. So I'll say it once more. I won't resign. Continue. Resume the game. Oh. Very well. It is your turn after all. I made the mistake of thinking this rule you made was your own weapon. However, I've realized they can also become a weapon for me. It all comes down to this. Please do give it a try. I've been focusing all the time on how they entered the closed room of the chapel. That approach was useless. It's useless. It's all useless. Spin the chessboard around. That's right. I was thinking about it backwards. This is how I should approach it. How is a chapel, which wasn't a closed room in the first place, made to look like a closed room? Here it comes. That thinking technique humans gave birth to over the course of a century. Give it a try. Say this in red for me. If you can't, then refuse. Here I go. Does this man intend to reverse his defensive posture? Impudence. I get that the only way to enter through the chapel is through the door, and that there's only one key. But wait. The question is whether that key really was handed over to Maria yesterday before noon. My, but you're dragging this on. Do try and get to the point. It's something like this. We've been under the impression that the key's been unusable since midday yesterday. So we've assumed that this was a closed room from midday yesterday until this morning. I want to hear you say that this impression of ours is a solid fact. Interesting. So you turn your reasoning not to the door, but to the key. Yesterday, Maria received an envelope from you. She didn't open it, but she might have felt it and known there was a key inside. But it's not like she'd have been able to confirm absolutely that it was the key to the chapel. Here's what I'm getting at. The thing inside the envelope given to Maria was a fake. If you think about what you're saying, it's ridiculous. This morning, Rosa definitely took an envelope out of Maria's handbag, and from that obtained the genuine key to the chapel. It wasn't a fake, as you suggest. I know that much. I'll continue. In that case, when Maria first received the envelope, the thing inside it was definitely that same to the key to the chapel, right? Oh? See what I'm getting at? Midday yesterday, you gave Maria an envelope with a key inside, and you told her that she mustn't open it. Maria probably realized it had a key inside. Later on, Aunt Rosa used the thing inside the envelope to open the door to the chapel, and that's why we assumed it was the key to the chapel all along. This is the suspicious part. So is this what you're trying to say? That when I entrusted Maria with a key, that the key was a fake? And then by the time Rosa obtained it, it had been switched with the real thing? Yeah, that's it. What's wrong, Beatrice-sama? You've been looking a bit pale for a while now, huh? Those close to me sometimes call me Beato. Beato will do. Alright, it's your turn, Beato. The Turn of the Golden Witch. Roll credits. Let's see you dodge this. Very well. The key to the chapel truly was the object inside the envelope I gave Maria. I'll move forward. Can you repeat it in red? That envelope was completely under Maria's supervision until Aunt Rosa opened it. If you can't say it, then say you refuse. Check. I refuse. I've spun it all around with just one move. Now it's your king on the run, Beato. I have a reason for refusing. It regards the definition of the phrase, under her supervision. In its purest meaning, Maria would need to have her eyes on it around the clock for that to be true. But Maria didn't go that far. It may have been completely under her supervision when she took it out of her handbag, but after she put it inside, it disappeared from her field of vision. In that sense, the phrase under her supervision would be inappropriate, so I couldn't use the red. Nothing more. Ugh. I'll bet that move hurt. And your face tells me you've guessed the next one. Sorry. I'm kind to women. I don't hurt them. And I never betray a woman's expectations. It's time for you to repeat it in red if you think you can. No one was able to touch Maria's handbag until Aunt Rosa took out the envelope. I will also refuse this one. I won't explain the reason. That's wrong. It's not that you won't explain it, it's that you can't explain it. That move gives us checkmate, doesn't it? If you can't do it, then I'll explain. The key to the chapel really was in the envelope you handed to Maria. Then Maria put it in her handbag, and the next morning Aunt Rosa took it out and opened the lock. However, Maria didn't have the handbag under her complete supervision. There's no need for magic. It's a closed room trick that's possible for a human.
The human culprit handed Maria the key, and by making Aunt Rosa use it the next morning, they created the illusion that there was a closed room during that time. You can't deny the possibility that during that time, the culprit took the key from Maria's handbag, used it, and returned it by morning. Can you say it in red? Repeat it! If you can say it, then say it! It's check again! Not yet. I removed the check. The envelope with the key in it should have been sealed with wax. Rosa took it from an unopened envelope. Really? Then try saying it. Repeat it! The envelope handed over midday yesterday and one Aunt Rosa opened the same thing. That I can repeat. The envelope I handed over to Maria and the one Rosa opened are the same thing. Huh. It's useless. It's all useless. It doesn't even matter anymore. I expected more from you. I figured that if you were a bit better at reading between the lines, you'd resign right there. So I'm a bit disappointed. You've betrayed my expectations. What? Who cares if the envelopes were the same? Envelopes can be sealed with wax over and over. The key inside is what's important. This time it's all over, Golden Witch. It's a real checkmate. I'll say it one more time. Repeat it! If you can say it, try saying it. The key to the chapel inside the envelope Maria received wasn't used even once until Aunt Rosa opened the envelope. How could I? Against the lowly human? I'll keep on saying it, Beatrice. Repeat it! The key to the chapel inside the envelope Maria received wasn't used even once until Aunt Rosa opened the envelope. If you're gonna yell, then say you resign. This settles it. This is the truth. Before Aunt Rosa retained Maria's key this morning, at one point it passed into someone else's hands. Then they used it, resealed it, and returned it to Maria's handbag, making it look like it hadn't been used. This is a trick with a cheap loophole and the assumption that the key wasn't used because the sealing wax wasn't opened. Checkmate! There's no magic and it's nothing more than a trick that's possible for humans. In that case, who do you say stole the key? Try answering. This time you try repeating it. That's right, I'm repeating you repeat things all the time. Probably have to answer every once in a while. But I refuse! My condition for victory is denying a witch's existence. I'll prove that this impossible crime done with your magic was actually possible by human hands. I've smashed your closed room with something possible even for humans. However, I won't specifically investigate who the culprit is. Because I believe in humans. Because I definitely won't accept that there's a person among us who would steal the key from Maria, use it, and do something so horrible. I give up. I resign. Just once for this skirmish, I'll give up. But you really are naive, battler. Parting remarks are a loser's privilege. Say as many as you like. Since you continue to deny my existence, you will eventually be cornered. After all, since you deny me, you will have to suspect those relatives that you can't stop loving. In the last moment, when you have to suspect one who is beloved to you, then you will surely accept my existence. True, you have defeated me in this skirmish alone. However, that naive logic will definitely destroy you. You can't win against me after all. Ushiromi, a battler? The games have begun. And yet, that chapter is ended. So, it is time to save. Let me see here. Okay, we're gonna give Paul for All Seasons a raid. He is currently streaming Elden Ring. I will be back next Wednesday with more Umineko. I will be back on Sunday. Well, no. Yeah, definitely Death Stranding, because we're nearing a pivotal chapter point, so I'll be streaming Death Stranding again on Sunday. Umineko on Wednesday. But thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. It's been great to have you here. Hope to see you again on Sunday and next week. This is Dr. Novelle signing out for the evening. You all have a good one. Let us begin the raid.